In 2013, 21-year-old Elisa Lam mysteriously vanished while staying alone at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. She spoke to her family every day, until one day she suddenly went silent. The only clue was a chilling elevator video. Elisa stepped in and out, pressed every button, and gestured wildly as if someone, or something, just out of view was speaking to her. Days later, hotel guests complained that the water tasted strange. When workers opened a rooftop water tank, they found Elisa's body inside. The roof was locked, the tank was difficult to access, and no one has ever explained exactly how she got there. Her death was ruled an accident, but the questions never went away. How did she reach the roof? Why was she acting so strangely? And what really happened inside the Cecil Hotel? More than a decade later, the Elisa Lam case remains one of the most haunting mysteries ever caught on camera. There are some mysteries that fade with time, cases that slowly disappear from public memory as years pass and evidence grows cold. But every once in a while, a case emerges that refuses to die. A case so strange, so unsettling, that even after investigators officially close the file, people continue searching for answers. For millions around the world, the death of Elisa Lam became exactly that kind of mystery. A missing college student, a hotel with a terrifying reputation, a surveillance video that looked like something out of a horror film, and a body discovered in one of the most disturbing locations imaginable. Even today, more than a decade later, people still ask the same question. What really happened to Elisa Lam? Tonight, we're diving deep into the full story. From Elisa's early life in Canada to the final moments captured on security footage inside the infamous Cecil Hotel. This is the complete case. Who is Elisa Lam? Before the internet turned her into a mystery, Elisa Lam was simply a young woman trying to figure out her life. Elisa was born on April 30th, 1991, in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. She was the daughter of immigrant parents who operated a restaurant business. Friends described her as intelligent, funny, and deeply creative. She loved books, photography, fashion, and writing online. Like many young people in the early Tumblr era, Elisa documented her thoughts publicly, and those writings would later become incredibly important. Because hidden among normal posts about music, school, and travel were discussions about loneliness, anxiety, depression, and emotional instability. Elisa struggled with bipolar disorder. She had experienced episodes severe enough to affect her education and social life. At times, she felt hopeful and optimistic. At other times, she felt trapped. Her Tumblr posts painted the picture of someone desperately trying to hold herself together while still chasing independence. In early 2013, Elisa decided to take a solo trip across parts of the United States. She planned to visit several cities along the West Coast. To Elisa, the trip represented freedom, adventure, a reset. Her family supported her decision, though they remained in constant communication with her. Every day, Elisa checked in with her parents. That routine would later become critical, because when the calls suddenly stopped, her family immediately knew something was wrong. To understand why this case became legendary, we first need to understand the place at the center of it. The Cecil Hotel. Located in downtown Los Angeles on South Main Street, the Cecil opened in 1927. At first, it was designed to be luxurious, elegant, a destination for wealthy travelers. But after the Great Depression devastated the area, the neighborhood changed dramatically. Crime increased, drug addiction spread, violence became common. Eventually, the area surrounding the hotel became associated with poverty, danger, and desperation. Over time, the Cecil developed one of the darkest reputations of any hotel in America. Numerous deaths occurred there: suicides, drug overdoses, violence. One of the hotel's most infamous residents was serial killer Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker. Ramirez reportedly stayed at the Cecil during portions of his killing spree in the 1980s. Another serial killer, Jack Unterweger, also stayed there while allegedly murdering women in Los Angeles. The hotel slowly became surrounded by urban legends and ghost stories. By 2013, the building was a strange mix of tourist hotel and low-income residential housing. Some floors were occupied by long-term residents, others were marketed toward backpackers and travelers. This was the environment Elisa entered on January 26, 2013. At first, she stayed in a shared hostel-style room, but according to reports, her roommates complained about unusual behavior. Some later claimed Elisa left strange notes telling them to leave or go home. Hotel staff eventually moved her into a private room. At the time, nobody realized how significant that detail might later become. During her first days in Los Angeles, Elisa appeared to enjoy herself. She explored local attractions, visited shops posted online. She seemed excited by the trip. On January 31st, Elisa visited the Last Bookstore in downtown Los Angeles. Employees later described her as friendly and talkative. She purchased books and discussed bringing gifts home to her family. Nothing about her behavior appeared alarming. But behind the scenes, investigators would later uncover concerns about her medication. People living with bipolar disorder often depend heavily on medication consistency. Missing doses or stopping medication suddenly can trigger severe emotional and psychological episodes. According to later reports, Elisa may not have been taking all of her prescribed medication correctly. That possibility would become central to the official explanation of her death. That evening, Elisa returned to the Cecil Hotel, and sometime afterward, she disappeared. When her parents failed to hear from her, they became deeply worried. Elisa rarely missed her daily check-ins. Soon, the Los Angeles Police Department launched a search. Officers searched the hotel, tracking dogs were brought in, flyers were distributed. Yet somehow, Elisa remained missing, even though she may have been inside the hotel the entire time. Then came the footage, the video that transformed the case into a global obsession. On February 19, 2013, the LAPD released surveillance footage from one of the hotel elevators. The footage was grainy, silent, and deeply disturbing. The video begins with Elisa entering the elevator. She presses several buttons. Then, she steps backward. The elevator doors remain open. She peeks into the hallway. Suddenly, Elisa appears frightened. She quickly moves into the corner. At one point, she leans out of the elevator and looks both directions down the hallway. Then come the hand movements. Elisa gestures strangely. Her motions appear disorganized and erratic. Some viewers believed she was communicating with someone unseen. Others thought she looked terrified. Some even claimed she appeared possessed. Eventually, Elisa exits the elevator. The doors remain open for an unusually long time. Then, finally they close, and Elisa disappears forever. The internet exploded. Millions of people watched the footage, forums filled with theories, YouTube channels analyzed every second. Some viewers believed Elisa was hiding from an attacker, others believed she was suffering from a severe psychological episode. But soon, the theories became far stranger. Ghosts, demons, government experiments, paranormal activity. Some people became convinced the hotel itself was haunted. The elevator footage quickly became one of the most analyzed surveillance videos in internet history. Investigators later suggested the elevator doors remained open because Elisa had activated the door hold feature by pressing multiple buttons. But for many viewers, the footage still felt impossible to explain. Even today, countless people describe the video as one of the creepiest recordings they have ever seen. While the internet focused on the elevator footage, something horrifying was happening inside the hotel. Guests began complaining about the water. The pressure was weak. The taste was strange. Some described the water as dark or foul-smelling. Nobody realized the terrifying reason why. On February 19th, hotel maintenance worker Santiago Lopez went to inspect the rooftop water tanks. The hotel used several large tanks to supply water throughout the building. When Lopez looked inside one of them, he made a horrifying discovery. Elisa Lam's body was floating inside. The news shocked the world. The same woman seen behaving strangely in the elevator footage had somehow ended up dead inside a rooftop water tank. The details were disturbing. Elisa was found naked. Her clothing floated nearby. Her room key and watch were also recovered. Questions exploded online. How did she reach the roof? How did she enter the tank? Why had police failed to find her earlier? And perhaps the biggest question of all, was someone else involved? The rooftop quickly became one of the most debated parts of the entire case. According to reports, roof access was restricted. There were locked doors, there were alarms, and the water tanks themselves were elevated. Many people believed it would have been extremely difficult for Elisa to reach the tanks alone. This fueled theories that someone must have helped or forced her. But later investigations complicated the story. Fire escapes may have provided alternate access routes. Some reports suggested the rooftop alarm system did not cover every entrance. Then came another controversy: the tank lid. Early reports claimed the lid was closed when Elisa's body was discovered. If true, that would make the case far more suspicious. But later accounts suggested the lid may actually have been open. The contradiction created enormous confusion. Internet investigators treated it as evidence of a cover-up. Others argued it was simply poor reporting. Still, many people struggled to accept the official explanation. Could Elisa really have climbed into the tank herself? If so, why? And if she entered willingly, why was she naked? Investigators suggested her clothing may have become difficult to manage underwater. Others mentioned paradoxical undressing, a phenomenon associated with hypothermia and confusion. But no explanation completely satisfied the public. The Los Angeles County coroner eventually ruled Elisa Lam's death an accidental drowning. The report stated there was no evidence of major physical trauma, no signs of sexual assault, no obvious injuries suggesting a violent attack. Toxicology reports found traces of prescription medication in her system. However, some medication levels were lower than expected. This became extremely important. Investigators believed Elisa may not have been taking all her medications consistently. For someone with bipolar disorder, inconsistent medication use can sometimes trigger severe manic or psychotic episodes. Symptoms may include paranoia, confusion, hallucinations, impulsive behavior, and intense fear. Suddenly, the elevator footage looked different to many experts. Instead of someone hiding from an attacker, they saw someone potentially experiencing a severe mental health crisis. Some investigators theorized Elisa wandered onto the roof while confused or frightened. Perhaps she believed she was hiding from danger. Perhaps she was trying to escape something she imagined. Once inside the tank, escape would have been extremely difficult. The walls were tall and slippery. Panic would have set in quickly. Ultimately, authorities concluded there was insufficient evidence for homicide. Officially, Elisa Lam died by accidental drowning during a bipolar episode, but the internet refused to let the mystery die. Few cases in internet history have generated as much obsession as Elisa Lam's death. The timing played a major role. In 2013, online true crime communities were exploding. The elevator footage spread globally within days. People analyzed every frame. YouTubers uploaded theories. Forums filled with speculation. Some viewers became convinced Elisa was being stalked. Others believed the footage showed clear signs of mental illness. But the more the video spread, the stranger the theories became. One theory claimed Elisa had uncovered dark secrets inside the hotel. Another claimed she had been murdered as part of a conspiracy. Some paranormal investigators suggested ghosts or demonic forces connected to the hotel's violent history. Another bizarre theory involved tuberculosis. A tuberculosis test kit called Lam Elisa existed at the time. Conspiracy theorists argued the similarity between Elisa Lam's name and the test could not possibly be coincidence. Despite having no evidence whatsoever, the theory spread rapidly online. Another disturbing development involved a Mexican musician known as Morbid. Internet users falsely accused him of murdering Elisa because he had once stayed at the Cecil Hotel and created dark music videos. The accusations spiraled out of control. People flooded his social media pages with threats. Others labeled him a killer. But investigators found absolutely no evidence connecting him to Elisa's death. The harassment severely affected his life and mental health. It became one of the clearest examples of internet mob behavior becoming dangerous. Meanwhile, amateur detectives continued analyzing every detail of the case. Was the elevator footage edited? Why did the doors stay open? Was someone in the hallway? Why was Elisa acting that way? And above all, how did she end up inside that water tank? The more questions people asked, the bigger the mystery became. Part of the reason Elisa Lam's story became so haunting was the location itself. The Cecil Hotel already carried decades of darkness. Over the years, countless deaths became linked to the building. Some were accidents, some were murders, some were suicides. One infamous case involved a woman named Goldie Osgood. In 1964, she was found sexually assaulted and murdered inside the hotel. Her killer was never definitively identified. In another disturbing incident, a woman jumped from an upper floor of the Cecil in 1962. As she fell, she landed on a pedestrian below, killing both of them instantly. Then came Richard Ramirez. During the 1980s, the serial killer known as the Night Stalker terrorized California. Ramirez murdered at least 13 people. He reportedly stayed at the Cecil during parts of his killing spree. Some stories claimed he returned to the hotel covered in blood after attacks. Years later, another serial killer, Jack Unterweger, also stayed at the hotel while allegedly murdering women in Los Angeles. The fact that two serial killers were connected to the same building intensified its terrifying reputation. Over time, the Cecil became surrounded by ghost stories and urban legends. Some visitors claimed they felt overwhelming dread there. Others reported strange noises and unexplained experiences. When Elisa Lam died inside the hotel, many people felt the building itself had somehow consumed another victim. That idea would later inspire documentaries, podcasts, horror stories, and television series. But behind the mythology was a far more tragic reality. A vulnerable young woman may have entered one of the worst possible environments while experiencing a severe mental health crisis. And the outcome was catastrophic. Years later, experts continued analyzing the elevator footage frame by frame. Some believed the video was key to understanding Elisa's mental state. At first glance, her behavior appears bizarre, but mental health experts noted several possible signs of mania or psychosis. Elisa repeatedly presses buttons. She appears confused when the elevator fails to move. She hides briefly in the corner. She looks into the hallway multiple times. Her gestures appear exaggerated and disorganized. Some psychologists suggested Elisa may have believed someone was following her. Others believed she was reacting to hallucinations or paranoid thoughts. Several details about the elevator itself also confused viewers. Why didn't the doors close immediately? One explanation involves the control panel. Many elevators include a door hold feature. If activated, the doors remain open longer than usual. Investigators suggested Elisa accidentally triggered that function. Another rumor claimed the video had been edited. This was partially true. The publicly released footage did contain altered timing and missing moments. However, investigators never suggested this indicated a conspiracy. Editing surveillance footage for public release is not uncommon. Still, conspiracy theorists viewed the changes as proof authorities were hiding something. The case slowly evolved beyond tragedy. It became mythology. And, once mysteries become myths, separating reality from imagination becomes extremely difficult. So what most likely happened during Elisa Lam's final hours? Based on available evidence, investigators constructed a possible timeline. After behaving erratically in the elevator, Elisa may have found her way to the roof. Whether she used a fire escape or another route remains uncertain. At some point, she approached the water tanks. Investigators believed she climbed inside voluntarily. That idea sounds impossible to many people, but experts familiar with severe bipolar episodes note that irrational or dangerous behavior can occur during psychological distress. If Elisa believed she was hiding from danger or escaping someone real or imagined, entering the tank may have made sense to her in that moment. Once inside, however, escape would have been nearly impossible. The tank walls were tall and slippery. The water would have caused panic and exhaustion. If the lid shifted or closed, darkness would have intensified the terror. Eventually, Elisa drowned. The theory explains much of the evidence, but not all of it. And that uncertainty is exactly why the case continues haunting people. Because unlike many solved crimes, there was no witness, no confession, no complete reconstruction, only fragments. Fragments millions of strangers attempted to piece together online. As years passed, Elisa Lam's story only became more famous. True crime channels revisited the mystery repeatedly. Podcasts discussed theories endlessly. Then, Netflix released the documentary series, Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. The series explored both Elisa's death and the hotel's disturbing history. It included interviews with investigators, journalists, hotel employees, and internet sleuths. One major theme of the documentary was the danger of online obsession. Thousands of strangers convinced themselves they could solve the mystery. Some became emotionally consumed by the case. Others blurred the line between evidence and fantasy. The documentary also explored how mental illness became overshadowed by sensational conspiracy theories. For Elisa's family, the internet frenzy created additional pain. Their daughter's final moments became entertainment for millions. Her suffering turned into memes, ghost stories, and viral mystery videos. While some people genuinely wanted answers, others treated the case like fictional horror. That ethical issue still surrounds modern true crime culture. At what point does curiosity become exploitation? And how do we discuss disturbing cases without forgetting the human being at the center of them? One of the most important aspects of Elisa Lam's story is often overlooked: mental illness. Many viewers interpreted the elevator footage as supernatural because they had never seen someone experiencing a severe psychological episode. But experts noted that Elisa's behavior aligned with symptoms sometimes associated with bipolar disorder during mania or psychosis. This does not make the footage less tragic. If anything, it makes it more heartbreaking. Imagine feeling overwhelming fear while isolated in a foreign city. Imagine becoming unable to trust your own thoughts. Imagine desperately trying to escape danger that may not even exist. Mental illness can distort reality in terrifying ways. Elisa herself had written publicly about her struggles. She discussed loneliness, mood swings, fear of failure, and emotional instability. After her death, many advocates argued the public should focus less on ghost stories and more on understanding mental health, because behind the mystery was a young woman who may have needed help during her final hours. Instead, much of the world simply watched disturbing footage and created theories. That contrast remains deeply sad. The questions that remain. Even after all these years, several questions continue haunting the public. How exactly did Elisa access the roof? Why were there conflicting reports about the tank lid? Why did the police search initially fail? Could hotel staff have noticed warning signs sooner? Was the rooftop more accessible than people realized? Or are there still missing details the public never learned? Some investigators believe the odd case is essentially solved. Others admit uncertainties remain, but uncertainty alone does not necessarily mean murder. Real life is often incomplete, messy, confusing, especially when mental illness and trauma are involved. The human mind naturally searches for patterns. We want clear villains, clear answers, clear endings. The Elisa Lam case offers none of those things, and that may be exactly why people cannot let it go. The Elisa Lam case marked a turning point in online true crime culture. Before this case, internet investigations certainly existed, but Elisa's disappearance demonstrated how rapidly millions of strangers could become involved in a mystery. The elevator footage spread globally within days. People translated it, edited it, analyzed it. Entire communities formed around solving the case, but the internet's involvement produced both positive and negative effects. Online communities can spread awareness about missing persons, but crowdsourced investigations can also spiral into dangerous misinformation, false accusations, harassment, conspiracy theories, and emotional exploitation. The musician Morbid became one of the clearest victims of this phenomenon. Despite having no connection to Elisa's death, he endured severe harassment. People sent death threats. Others publicly labeled him a murderer. The accusations badly affected his mental health. The situation became a warning about the darker side of internet detective culture, because unlike movies, real investigations affect real lives, and online speculation can easily become cruelty. There's one detail many people overlook when discussing Elisa Lam. In the final weeks before her death, she appeared deeply focused on identity and self-worth. Her Tumblr posts reflected someone searching for stability, searching for purpose, searching for peace. Some posts sounded hopeful, others sounded exhausted. In hindsight, those writings feel painfully vulnerable. But at the time, they were simply the thoughts of a young woman navigating adulthood. Elisa was not a fictional horror character. She was not an internet puzzle. She was someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone trying to survive complicated emotional struggles. That reality often gets buried beneath the myths, the hotel mythology, the ghost stories, the conspiracy videos, the viral footage. Yet behind all of it was a very human tragedy, a vulnerable person alone in a difficult environment. And perhaps that is the most unsettling part of the entire case. Not demons, not conspiracies, not secret killers, but the terrifying reality of how fragile the human mind can become under the wrong, the legacy. Today, the Cecil Hotel has attempted multiple rebrandings. At one point, sections of the property were renamed Stay on Main in an attempt to escape the building's dark reputation. But for many people, the hotel will forever remain linked to Elisa Lam. Tourists still visit the area. Ghost hunters still discuss the case. The elevator footage continues circulating online. And every year, new viewers discover the mystery for the first time. Some walk away believing the official explanation. Others remain convinced something darker occurred. But regardless of theory, Elisa Lam's story left a permanent mark on internet culture. It became one of the defining mysteries of the digital age. A case where surveillance footage, online obsession, and tragedy collided in real time. It also forced uncomfortable conversations about mental health, voyeurism, and the ethics of true crime entertainment. Because while mysteries attract attention, real suffering exists behind every case file. What really happened? So what really happened to Elisa Lam? Officially, investigators believe she experienced a bipolar episode, climbed into a rooftop water tank, and accidentally drowned. The evidence supports many parts of that theory. Her medical history, her behavior in the elevator footage, the toxicology findings, and the absence of major trauma. And yet, the case still feels haunting because the footage captures fear in its rawest form. A young woman alone, confused, distressed, possibly terrified, and within hours, she was dead. Perhaps that emotional intensity is why the mystery continues haunting people. We stare at the footage searching for answers, searching for hidden clues, searching for meaning. But sometimes tragedies do not provide satisfying endings. Sometimes the truth is simply sad, messy, human. Elisa Lam's story remains one of the internet's most disturbing mysteries, not because of monsters or ghosts, but because it reminds us how quickly isolation, fear, and mental illness can become deadly. And because somewhere inside that eerie elevator footage is a real moment of suffering that millions of strangers witnessed without ever fully understanding. Elisa Lam was 21 years old.